Hello everyone, this is Ponderonweather. In this video, we're going to be talking about some big storms, a squall line, and yes, even heavy snow. So if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button and the notification bell to get my daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. So let's get right to it. Let's look at the overall surface map and temperatures as of this morning, April the 3rd. And it was severe clear yesterday across the United States. There wasn't too much going on. It was a very nice day. Hardly any precipitation happening anywhere in the United States. Even this morning, the only game in town is some showers that are extending off a disturbance here down in South Texas, trying to get into Central Texas, but it's been very dry, so it's moistening up the atmosphere. But out ahead of it, yeah, we still have some cold air to contend with in portions of the east. In fact, some record cold temperatures this morning out here. But we're going to turn our attention out to this cold front that's off the Pacific coast here. That's going to be our culprit of our next storm system that's going to be diving into the U.S. So let's get right to it. Here's the surface map. There's not terribly too much going on today. We heat up in a big way. If we extend it into Sunday, the 4th, you can look at the high pressure. I mean, look at all this orange. I mean, the high pressure just dominates the United States as these higher temperatures. I mean, we're talking 99 in Phoenix. Even like Vegas is trying to hit the triple digits, even on Sunday. So, man, there's a lot of warm air. Even earlier on in the season, as this continues to shift and this high pressure builds over the north here. But yeah, there's our culprit from our next storm system that's going to be dumping some heavy snow, and they've got some cold air back behind this cold core loft here as we extend the day. But you can see the day on Sunday, yeah, you're just be dealing with those rain showers today, and those just extend into tomorrow for portions of South Texas into Central Texas. But as we go into Mondays, here's the things when start kind of getting really active here. Now we're talking heavy snow now into Idaho, into Montana. They kind of had a respite, but it's going to be coming back in a big way with 6 to 12 inches easily in the higher elevations of Idaho and Montana. But here's your low pressure out ahead of it. That's going to be your culprit for some severe storms possibly as we go throughout the week. And here's your lows traveling down to the south. And I mentioned the warm air, out ahead of it. So that's going to be your culprit as well, as we're going to have a split in the upper levels. And that's going to be setting the stage for more severe weather. Coming up on Monday here, that same storm system will continue shifting off to the central U.S. And yeah, we're talking a marginal risk of storms by then into Minneapolis, getting to much of central Minnesota. The most concerning part is you're going to be your hail with this system. Some smaller hail up to maybe a nickel to up to quarter size hail with this particular storm system, and some heavier rain as getting into portions of central Minnesota by then as we go into the day, and eventually getting into portions of Wisconsin here as we go into the day on Monday. So as back behind it, like I mentioned, man, we got a lot of warm air to contend with. I mean, we're really going to be skyrocketing here well into the 80s, if not 90s down here in the desert Southwest. We're talking possibly record high temperatures by then of these 25 degree above average temperatures. But I mentioned that cold core aloft, and that's where it's going to be setting the snow, and that's going to be ejecting the cold core in the upper levels. And you got all that warm air creating all that instability at the surface, and that's going to be creating the big storms that we're going to be talking about by midweek. So yeah, as we get into the day on Wednesday, this is when things start to get really interesting here. You'll have that snow line continue to shift into portions of Wyoming here, getting into parts of the Dakotas where they've actually desperately need some rain in those areas. They've been in a severe drought, but that rain will extend into portions of Minnesota, getting into Iowa here with some heavier rains by the time we get into Wednesday, going to the day on Wednesday. And look at the lightning detector. These are the storms that are really going to be elevating. And man, we're talking 1,000 lightning detector in this particular storm system. So as it gets as it taps into that higher instability with those warmer temperatures, man, we could be talking like some big storms brewing into Iowa, getting into portions of Missouri as we get into the day on Wednesday. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center, even 5 days out, has already highlighted a slight risk of severe weather. So this is definitely concerning. I mean, this being so bullish, so long out that, yeah, these could be developing into some big storms by the time we get into Wednesday. So they've already highlighted an area of concern into Memphis, Tennessee, into Little Rock, getting into Springfield, Missouri, into Arkansas, as well as we go into the day on Monday or Wednesday. That's going to be your severe weather threat day. Especially as we extend in the day on Wednesday, and as we go into the afternoon and possible the evening, yeah, we could be talking a bow echo setting up potentially with some very high winds setting up to and Iowa, getting into Illinois. Portions of Kentucky here, extending into Arkansas and western Tennessee. This could be a very nasty squall line setting up, extending. And whenever you see a bow echo like that, man, that's some serious winds that are coming out ahead of that storm. So you could be talking about straight line wind damage from this particular system as these really start to get its act together, extending off, pushing off into the east and fishtailing down to the south, taking advantage of that warm sector out ahead of it because, it's already kind of, elevating now, but those dew points will be creeping up every single day as we get there. And look at the temperatures back behind it. That's where that cold core aloft, man, just surrounding it with a lot of instability with those higher temperatures. But once that cold core taps into that energy here, that's going to set the stage for your bigger storms and severe weather, especially as we go into Wednesday and go into the day on Thursday. Here's your 500 millibar as of right now. Wednesday afternoon. Man, look at that split flow. We got a closed upper level jet ejecting out from the southwest here, and that's going to have that split in the upper atmosphere again, and that could be setting the stage for some bigger storms and unfortunately some more tornadoes potentially in portions of the southeast as we get into the day on Wednesday and Thursday. Those are probably your two most concerning days next week. Look at the surface map by the time we get into Wednesday night, going into the overnight on Thursday. Look at that bow out ahead of it. Man, that's some serious winds extending and arcing that system out behind it and fishtailing it down to the bottom. So this is definitely concerning. So we could be looking at like a squall line potentially setting up. And then down to the south, we're setting up more tornadoes potentially down in the southeast and these areas down here. But as we get into the day, especially overnight on Wednesday going into Thursday, here's your flash index. By the time we get into Thursday, you can see that extending all the way down into Louisiana by then, Mississippi, Alabama again, into Georgia, into Tennessee. That'll extend into parts of the Carolinas. These could be under the gun for severe weather threat as we go into the day on Thursday. And look at your CAPE index. I mean, even this far out, we're talking, this is 6 days out, guys, but still, I mean, these elevated CAPE energy values are pretty concerning, even this far out. Looking at 2,000, maxing out at 2,800 here. So your average storm is about 500. So this has got a lot of fuel to work with at ahead of the system. And that's the concerning part as this system will tap into that energy. Here's your latest SIPS guidance on the 8th. This just shows you where the potential severe weather threat could potentially be by the time we get into Thursday, as that nasty squall line will be setting up over the midsections of the country and then down to the south here, down into Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, getting into Alabama again, could be under the gun for some more severe weather. And that just extends as you go into the day. On the 9th here, still that same general area, basically from East Texas, I would imagine, from getting into Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Western Tennessee, a lot of the same areas will be under the gun and get hit again with another severe weather outbreak potentially as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. Even the Weather Prediction Center has highlighted some of the higher risk for this week. There's your heavy snow that we talked about on the 5th into Idaho, getting into Montana. out ahead of that, there's your warm sector with some very warm temperatures, if not hot, in the desert southwest here, as that high pressure will be building in throughout the week. And here's your highlighted, heavier rains potentially into Minnesota, into Iowa here. And there's another heavier rain setup potentially into the Tennessee Valley by the time we get into the 8th time frame. And that same system will just continue pushing off into the southeast, and we could be talking about some more heavier rain into parts of Georgia's and the Carolinas by April the 9th rolls around. So I kind of, here's a little sector where I kind of highlighted where I think the severe weather threat is going to be from, say, April the 5th through April the 9th. So anywhere from, southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin here, getting into Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, portions of Kansas, and, Oklahoma. This would be an East Texas threat going into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, into portions of Western Tennessee, Central Tennessee, and even Kentucky here. And here's your highest threats in these little black sector zones here that potentially could be looking at some of the highest threats of severe weather from basically that 5th through 9th time frame coming up next week for your severe weather threat. Here's your overall precipitation over the next 7 days. You can definitely see it's basically a two-pronged system. We have an upper level low traversing across the north. That's going to bring some heavier precipitation across Idaho into Montana, portions of the Dakotas where they actually need some rain. Like I mentioned, they're under severe drought out in the Dakotas area, but that heavier rain will extend into precipitation into Minnesota, into Wisconsin. And here's that southern jet as well. So we could be looking at some multi-inch rains in portions of Arkansas, getting into Mississippi and Alabama and western Tennessee again. So these areas have been hit hard over the last several weeks with some very heavy rain. I think they're going to be hit again. And here's your snow. There's no snow out east. There's nothing south. There's nothing in the central. All it's going to be traversing back behind that cold core. And yeah, some of these heavier snows could be picking up some higher values of talking 6 to 10 inches in portions of Idaho, getting into Montana. Even some isolated amounts could picking up a foot in portions of Montana, over the week as that low traverses across from west to east here. So yeah, we could looking at some heavier snows from this system as well. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely share with your friends on social media to get the word out to keep them ahead of the storm. So definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.